Welcome back to Hoops HD, everybody. It is Championship Week Video Notebook Day number 9 time. I'm your host, Chad Sherwood, joined by a couple of Davids, David Dorman, David Griggs. Uh,
Ted, Ted, you've cut the internet and the power off here in the bunker again.
well, somebody's got to remember to pay the bill one of these days. We have not done that so far this year, but uh, hopefully we should see the screen share coming up here with Championship Week Video Notebook. Did we get that at least?
Yep.
Yeah, I see that, but I'm just on my little. There's no internet or power in here.
Well, you are in the puppet bunker, so everyone needs to know that they are safe. And actually, did you know that today was that this year is the 40th anniversary of Championship Week, which since ESPN started doing Championship Week, calling it that and everything. This is 40 years now. And we went back at the archives today, Griggs, actually. You've been doing all these complaints, but I have proof that every year since they started, you've been doing the puppet bunker. I mean, take a look at this.
No, that is a doctored photo. Like if you'll notice, the only thing that you changed was the year.
No, there's a
You
Back to the Future
doctored that
poster, a
photo.
Rubik's Cube, Nintendo. That is so 1986 if I ever saw 1986.
It, well, the TV's 1986. That's still in here.
You got Nintendo.
Yeah.
The Nintendo is broke since then, obviously. So we're a little downgraded here, but um, let's start with a little news and notes. The first thing is Duke Caleb Foster injury. They are calling him out for the foreseeable future. Quite frankly, Dorman, I think that's injury talk for the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. I mean, from what I've heard, my guess is he's done for the season, and they just don't want to admit that so it doesn't hurt their seed.
He's done for the season. I agree with you, Chad. I believe he had surgery yesterday on the foot that he injured playing against Carolina last Saturday night. I'd be stunned if you saw him again this year, unfortunately. I feel bad for the kid. He stuck it out after last year, came back, having a real good year. And as good as he is with the ball, his defense, his pressure on the ball, on the defenses, they're really going to miss that.
Yeah. The other story I was breaking today, what almost became a big story, involved Utah Valley again. If you remember last week, last Friday, they won their injunction, but so they could play in the WAC tournament, men's and women's WAC tournament, but part of the injunction required them to post $1 million bond. So the WAC came out today with and announced that, well, the money hasn't been posted yet, so if it's not posted by the end of the day today, they don't get to play, which was a bunch of BS. I've got on the screen here the actual order, and it says that there's nothing in this order, if you read it, that says that a deadline for them to post $1 million by, or what happens if they don't post $1 million. And in fact, it wasn't even called an order to post $1 million. It was called a directive due to a technicality in Utah law actually, that the state, and it is a state school, cannot be ordered to post money. They have to do it more voluntarily. And they had agreed during the hearing that they would post the money.
Yeah.
But it was literally what came out being here, and I'll scroll down a bit. This was the school's response. It came down to being the fact that there was administrative issues with the court accepting the money. It took them a couple of days to set up the trust account to accept it, so that's why they couldn't post the money yet. And
This is real. This is not a Hoops HG joke.
No.
This is
Yeah.
for real. This is real, what Chad is showing, real documents.
yes, this is the actual letter from Derek Brown, the Utah Attorney General, responding to the statement, noting that on March 6th, 5 o'clock p.m., shortly after the order was entered, they contacted the court. They would try to deposit the funds. The court had not yet provided them the instructions how to do that. Money still hasn't technically been posted. Won't be posted until tomorrow morning. But the WAC finally relented. Final post so that they have been assured by the court, not by Utah Tech, but by Utah Valley, but by the court, that the $1 million payment will be made, and therefore the teams are in. So it almost ended up being mass chaos. Thankfully, it wasn't, and we can move on with our lives.
For the men and the
Are we
women.
setting ourselves up for the most awesomely awkward trophy presentation in sports history? If
Well,
Utah Valley wins,
I'll tell you what, the conference did announce its conference awards tonight, and there were Utah Valley players that won plenty of awards. So at least they didn't, keep find ways to keep them out of all the trophies that they should have earned. Uh,
Yeah.
let's go on to the court though, and we had what was it, five conference championships games today, four bids given out because one had already been given out. Let's start in the CAA. Dorman, Hofstra, Speedy Claxton in the NCAA tournament for the first time ever, and the team back in for the first time since 2001.
The Fighting Speedy Claxtons, they played really well today. I felt bad for King Rice. His Mama team was definitely game. I felt bad for him. They came up a little short. Hofstra really tightened up on defense down the stretch, got a few huge stops, and Hofstra moves on. They will be in the tournament, probably around a 14, 15 seed, I believe. And this is a team that can give some fits to some of the power boys. They have a great guard. They have great guard play, and they play tough defense.
Yeah, Griggs, that was one of the stories. Another story was the Horizon League championship game, and wow, what a hell of a game this was. I thought for a while that Detroit had this game, they're about to run away with it, and then Wright State came storming back.
Yeah, it was a great game. We knew it was going to be a really exciting game, and it was a great atmosphere. Wright State jumped out early. Detroit Mercy fought back, got the lead. Then Wright State had to fight back, and when time expired, Wright State had done it. I believe this is their third NCAA tournament in the last 5 years. They're, at least in terms of tournament appearances, appear to be outperforming Dayton, UC, and Xavier, all in that immediate vicinity of the Miami Valley.
Great end to this game too, though. It was Orlando Lovejoy
Yeah.
was blocked by Kellen Pickett on the very last play of the game to seal this win. The ending of this game especially was just incredible back and forth action there.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, it appeared that Wright State was locking it up, but Detroit kept making plays, and Wright State kept missing free throws. So it came down to the last play.
Dorman, it was not a bid awarded because the bid had already been handed out on Saturday, but LIU hosted Mercyhurst and got the NEC tournament championship to go along with the NCAA tournament bid that they'd already locked up.
Rod Strickland and his Long Island Sharks are going dancing. When this situation, you want to go on your home floor and you want to go to the tournament on a win. You want to make it like it was a huge night and everything. And Long Island was game. Their fans really came out. I thought they did a good job too. Mercyhurst had nice fan support as well. But Long Island wins, and they get to celebrate on their home court in front of their home fans. I thought it was great. The way to go out, you don't want an asterisk, and you lost this game. So, Rod Strickland, congratulations, and Long Island, you're back in.
Yep, there was a little asterisk down here on the bracket actually earlier. I removed it because there's no doubt about it. They are not going in backwards like Fairleigh Dickinson did, and then had a pretty good tournament. But let's leave it at that. But congrats to the
All
Sharks.
four games they got 3 battles. I thought they'd blow through this tournament, seeing as how they had the whole thing at home and seeing as how the bracket collapsed a little bit. But they got 3 battles. Long Island did.
I've had them consistently right above the first 4, but on the 16 line, I think that's where they're probably going to end up staying.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance they avoid Dayton, especially with some upsets going on in some other leagues that we're going to get to here in a few minutes. But Griggs, Metro Atlantic Championship game, Siena. Wow, their defense looked really good today. They jumped out to a big lead. Merrimack had 1 or 2 runs, but could never get back all the way back into this thing.
Yeah, Siena pretty much controlled most of the game from tip to buzzer. They went, I mean, there were a couple times where they had a really comfortable lead. Merrimack made it close, but Siena gets the win. Merrimack still waiting for their first ever NCAA tournament. They won a conference championship, but not in the Metro Atlantic, and they weren't eligible for an automatic bid. So still a really successful campaign for them since transitioning up. But congrats to Siena. They had a really good year too. And at the end of the day, is this a situation where even though it wasn't the first place team, did the team that had the best overall season and maybe the best team get in via the auto bid? Siena looked pretty good.
Yeah, they did. I'll tell you, Dorman, the coaches that got in for the first We got
Unbelievable.
Skinny Claxton in. We got Rod Strickland in. Now we got Jerry McNamara in. I mean, heck of a day for coaches that with big
Let,
names.
let's see the coaches play. Those guys are awesome.
Siena, by the way, their first bid since 2010, so it's been 15 years for them. Um, how about the West Coast Conference, Dorman? Both these teams we think we're in. I mean, we think Santa Clara with the win last night after we finished our show over St. Mary's had probably locked up their bid. But they actually had Gonzaga. They were leading over Gonzaga probably first 30 minutes of this game.
Santa Clara played really, really well for 30, 32 minutes. Yes, they were up 7 with about 15 minutes to go in the game. I really like this Santa Clara team. Herb Sendek has done an incredible job, and they are strong and tough on defense. It was Gonzaga is just so big and long with them, and Graham Ike started to dominate the boards later. But the freshman, Davis Fogel, on Gonzaga, 13 points, was hitting threes, hit a big layup and got fouled. And it was real. It was an exciting game the whole way. The 9 points or the 11-point victory, makes it sound like it was just another ho-hum. This was a really, really good game, tight, and a lot of intensity and emotions. Great game.
It was semifinal day of the America East, Griggs, and I guess the Vermont NJIT game was close for a little while. The UMBC Lowell game was never close.
Not close at all. It's just a little bit strange. Like we're getting a championship game on a home court that's not Vermont's. Congrats to UMBC. I do recall them beating Vermont in a previous championship game and then winning another game after that. I forget against who though.
Yeah. Our friend Joby might remember that game. But that game won't be till Saturday, the championship game. But really, today was kind of a snoozer in this conference. But we had some excitement in some other leagues. Let's jump over to the Big Sky right now. We're recording this early. The Idaho Eastern Washington game is still going on. But Dorman, a massive upset in the first semifinal. Montana knocks down Portland State. 32 points for Money Williams. Portland State was down huge this game, made a monster comeback, but just couldn't get all the way there.
Yeah, Montana led the whole way, had a big 17-point lead right around the end of the first half. Montana played good, but like you said, like we see in these games so many times, Portland State came flying back. They're pressing, they're forcing turnovers. Montana's throwing the ball away here and there, but down the stretch, Montana just barely squeaked this one out. Portland State actually had 2 or 3 threes to tie it up in the last 30 seconds. Couldn't convert. Montana got the rebound and the clock ran out. So the Grizz move on. They'll play in the championship tomorrow night against either Idaho or Eastern Washington. That game is still going on as we tape.
Yeah, and Idaho, I think last time I looked, the score had the lead in this game. And honestly, I think Idaho may have been one of the better teams in this conference despite their seed. I think they may have been one of the 3 or 4 best teams in this conference. So I would not be shocked at this point with this bracket blown up and Northern Colorado out, Portland State out, Montana State out. Maybe Idaho is the team that's going to go to the NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah, of all the teams, and this was a really competitive conference all throughout the year. Portland State, I know that their record shows that they ran away from it, but they were in battles all year long. They were down big today, came back, actually had a chance to tie it on their last possession after being down by, I think, as many as 20 in the second half. But couldn't get all the way back. A great season for Portland State. You kind of hate that they aren't the ones that are going to get the auto bid, but I don't know, just crazy stuff at Starch Madness.
It was second round day in the SWAC. Prairie View got a battle from Alcorn State. Jackson State Grambling was also a close game all the way, but the 2 higher seeds did win. Griggs, any thoughts on those 2 games?
2 battles. Mississippi Valley State. We're going to miss them. They are.
That was Monday's game. I'll talk about today's games though.
Oh, today's game. Not a whole lot of thoughts on today's. Both were kind of. I mean, the Jackson State Grambling game was really fun to watch. I still think FAMU cruises tomorrow, but honestly, I don't think really either team has much of a chance. But the Jackson State Prairie View game the Jackson State Grambling game was fun to watch.
Yes. Well, and Alcorn actually was up for a while in there with Prairie View. It took till late till Prairie View pulled that away. But so tomorrow we get two quarterfinals: Bethune against Prairie View, FAMU against Jackson State. I kind of agree with him though, Dorman. The 1 and 2 seeds should not have much trouble tomorrow.
They shouldn't, but we've seen craziness in the SWAC before, so don't count it out. But I agree, Chad. I'm with you. I think Bethune and A&M probably move on tomorrow night.
It was opening round day in the ACC today, and we saw two teams' bubble chances probably completely implode. Wake with an overtime win over Vatech was a good game throughout. That to the extent Vatech was still in the bubble, they're probably done. Stanford, a horrible loss to Pitt. Stanford's probably done, but SMU stopped their falling apart and did beat Syracuse. Greg, your thoughts?
Stanford was playing well down the stretch. I was shocked that Pittsburgh beat them today in front of the dozens of people in attendance. And I thought both Stanford and Vatech had been playing well down the stretch, and SMU had not. So if you'd have asked me to pick which one is the most likely to lose, I would have said SMU. Yet they won the most well. They were the only team that won, and they won comfortably.
Yeah, and that sets up. And by the way, Mike Cha joining us. Mike, good to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Just talking ACC, and we're just going to start previewing actually a little bit of what's going to be happening tomorrow as we get a lot more good games here. Florida State, Cal, Clemson, Wake, that's the night session. NC State, Pitt, Louisville, SMU, that's the afternoon session.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Yeah, first of all, not a good day for the bubble teams in the ACC. Virginia Tech and Stanford both fell, and they're making a case to be left out of the NCAA tournament. SMU, on the other hand, they win their game easily, so they're still not out of the woods. So they get, but if they can beat Louisville, I think that they'll have a very strong chance to be included in the NCAA tournament.
I think the most interesting game might be that Florida State Cal game, just because.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to get back to, Florida State Cal. The winner has a chance. The loser definitely out. That's definitely the most intriguing matchup there for the 8-9 matchup.
I say NC State, if they lose to Pitt, I think they're still in, but they could be sniffing
I
Dayton
agree.
the way they've been playing lately.
Yeah. Same thing with Clemson. In case Clemson trips up against Wake Forest, they'll still be in, but they could get knocked down a seed line.
Mike, let me stick with you since you're our Big Ten guy. Get your thoughts on these two thrilling Big Ten games we had today. Maryland over Oregon, Northwestern over Penn State.
I think it was Griggs. He was saying this is the first time a 17 seed has won a tournament game, and that the first time that the 18 seed has lost a tournament game.
That
was actually Chad.
Okay, that's funny. That is true. I mean, not many times. Now with the super conferences, you're gonna have this going forward, but and then last year the Big Ten only included 15. That's why. But yeah, I'm like, okay, now they're out of the way. That's the best thing I can say. They're out of the way.
Yeah. Go ahead, Griggs.
Yeah, they're out of the way.
Dorman, what about tomorrow? Iowa, Maryland, Washington, USC, Indiana, Northwestern, Minnesota, Rutgers. I think it's a big day for Indiana.
Huge day for Indiana. The way the bubble teams are playing, you think they're going to lose. Indiana has to win this game. There's just no other way to say it. They have been leaking oil for 4 weeks now. They cannot go into. They can't have the committee looking at these losses, and another one tomorrow would be to Northwestern, and it's just an awful look. And I don't think they'll be included in the tournament if they do not win tomorrow. I don't know if they have to beat Purdue, but they better win tomorrow.
I agree.
So that is a really, really big game. Really, as far as the bubble and the tournament, that's the one to watch tomorrow in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, USC still technically on some people's board, but without Chad Baker Mazzara, I don't even think they could beat Washington tomorrow. And they would need like a run to the finals at this point anyhow. So
yeah, I agree.
Griggs, it was opening round day in the Big 12, and Cincinnati did what they need to do. Arizona State, Baylor, BYU finally looked good, although they struggled for a bit, and Oklahoma State even, if you think they're still alive, got to win.
I don't think Oklahoma State's still – well, they're still playing, so I guess they're still alive in that sense. I think BYU was down early in the first half, and I was just like – they did come back to win, but had they lost that game, how are we putting Baylor or BYU above the 10 line at this point? But they did win, and they have another game tomorrow against a team that's outside the bubble that I also think they need to win just to protect their seeding. I don't think they need to do any more after that, although they could certainly help themselves out if even more if they do. Arizona State and Iowa State, I think that's officially it for Danny Hillard. But this UCF Cincinnati game is fascinating. Cincinnati's still outside the bubble. I don't think beating UCF gets them all the way in, and I don't think a UCF loss knocks them all the way out. But Cincinnati kind of playing for their tournament lives, and UCF trying to play to really sort of resuscitate their profile and their seeding. And it's probably the last. I think it's big because it's the last game that those teams will win prior to the NCAA tournament, assuming Arizona shows up and takes this seriously.
Yeah, well, I think Cincinnati probably needs to beat Arizona.
I think they do too. I don't think they will, but at least a win tomorrow gives them that shot.
Yeah.
Quick note here on the BYU game. AJ advanced with 40 points today. He's just incredible. TCU, the other game tomorrow, TCU Oklahoma State. TCU, I think we actually locked them up the way they've been playing lately. I expect them to beat Oklahoma State, but that might hurt their seed line a little bit if they don't get that win.
Yeah.
Arizona State, I'm not usually the guy sticking up for Arizona State or complimenting them. They played the last two games, the best two games of their season. They beat Kansas the other day, and today they just played with like inspiration. I don't know if it was the Hurley factor or the pride, but they came out like with energy and effort and intensity. I hadn't seen the way they played the last week. If they would have played this like all year, they'd be in much better shape, and Bobby Hurley would still have a job.
He has not technically been fired yet, but it's pretty much a given. I mean, I guess technically if he wins this tournament and makes a run to the Final Four, things could change. Yeah,
that's true.
Conference USA also started off today, actually with a couple of pretty good games, believe it or not. I mean, not much meaning to them, Griggs, but Missouri State and New Mexico State both pulled off the mild upsets.
Yeah, and both were fun games to watch. I was just sort of passively watching them, but the end of that Missouri State FIU game in particular is good. But New Mexico State, they did have the win against New Mexico. I was expecting more out of them than last, but they're still alive in the tournament, at least for one more day.
Well, they weren't last. There were three teams that didn't even qualify for the conference.
Well, okay, my mistake. Yeah,
but Mike. Tomorrow we get two quarterfinals, Liberty, Missouri State, Sam Houston, New Mexico State. Do you think we're going to get an upset tomorrow, or will the top two seeds hold?
I think the top two seeds will hold. Anything can happen, but I'm going to go with chalk here.
Right. I'm going to go backwards now because it had not quite gone final. But the conference of the night, quite honestly, believe it or not, was the semifinals in the Southland. Let's take them one game at a time, beginning with Stephen F. Austin, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi.
Just a chalky day in the Southland, nothing interesting.
Keon Thompson gets a basket with 5 seconds left. There's then two missed free throws, a offensive rebound, a missed three-pointer at the buzzer. Crazy game. Somehow SFA escapes. And then McNeese should have lost UTRGV about 5 times tonight. UTRGV had a chance to win at the end of regulation. Didn't score. Chance to win at the overtime, didn't score. Chance to win at the end of double overtime, didn't score. Triple overtime, just went final. McNeese gets the win and goes to the finals. Griggs, what about the Southland today?
Yeah, what about it? I mean, just two thrilling games. McNeese and UTRGV, the shooting was poor, but I mean, it was certainly not lacking for drama. And you kind of wondered, like, what was it like for SFA to be watching that game, knowing that had UTRGV won it, it would have been their first ever championship game, at least as UTRGV. I know that they
ever in any incarnation. They've never been in the NCAA tournament, never been in a conference championship game.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, and how sickening is that? And how much are they going to replay? Not one, not two, but 3 chances where they had the ball on the last possession of the game with a chance to score. They got to run their offense. They got the shot they wanted, sort of, but just couldn't get any of them to fall any of the 3 times.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. This sets up an SFA McNeese championship game tomorrow. Um, we have John Salika joining us. John, we just talked a little Southland here, which is our last conference that played today. Uh, and if talk about this SFA McNeese game tomorrow, actually, though, if McNeese goes 16 for 31 from the free throw line for 52% again, they're getting their asses kicked tomorrow, in my opinion. But your thoughts?
I figured everyone would be more despondent just because we failed to get a quadrupler right here.
I
If we had the quad,
crushed.
Mhm.
because we did have the quadrupler, probably could have joined a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a exciting day in the Southland, though. Got that championship game at 5 o'clock tomorrow, so McNeese haven't played that late game. That may hurt them as well. Triple overtime late game. Uh, Although that concludes everything that was played today, that's not all that we have to hit because there's a couple conferences back in act, one conference back in action. It is championship day tomorrow in the Patriot League. Dorman, BU at Lehigh. Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, this is going to be a good matchup here. Boston's offense is going to give Lehigh fits. Boston can score. They're usually the problem is on defense. Lehigh has looked good in this tournament. They knocked out Colgate. Colgate, I don't want to say was the favorite coming in this tournament by any means, but Colgate has dominated this league for a while now, and they've been the team going to the tournament. Lehigh knocks them out on their home floor, so they get this game tomorrow at home, Lehigh. I actually like Lehigh to beat Boston at home, but they got to get some good defense. They got to put pressure on the ball and can't let Boston University get their open shooting threes because there's got a couple shooters on the wings that will knock them down. I'm going Lehigh. Exciting game tomorrow night.
I agree. This could be a fun one. I mean, we really thought Navy would cruise to this conference tournament. They struggled with Bucknell and then lost to BU, so that's it for them.
But never underestimate the resident PhD, Dr. Brett Reed, in this conference.
Sleek, let me stick with you. It is first round day tomorrow in the American, and how about those Memphis Tigers playing in the first round, having barely qualified to even make this tournament? They have Tulane, FAU has Temple.
Well, this is certainly different from their Conference USA days when they would occasionally play in Birmingham, and instead of having to go, 4 rounds like they normally would now, they have to go 5, I believe.
Yeah, they have to win 5 and 5. I have no doubt that they will probably lose tomorrow to Tulane. That's the type of season it's been for Memphis.
Likewise, I probably say the same for FAU, who has been much colder than how they started. In Temple, they've had an occasional pick off here in the American.
Well, here the big question in this conference, I think there's two questions in this conference. Number one, who wins the conference tournament? And the other question that may stem from that is if South Florida doesn't win it, especially if they lose on Sunday, do they have a path? We debated this on our bracket rundown show. It might be a debate that we hear here. Dorman, who's going to win the American?
Well, I'm going to go with UAB because the game isn't on their home floor.
But it is in Birmingham.
But they're in Birmingham, so it's not a home game. So if they're not at home, they should be just perfect because they only win on the road. So I like UAB in an honest comment. I think they can give South Florida fits. I think they can knock off South Florida if they play their game. Andy Kennedy's a fantastic coach. What was the other question, Chad? Do they have a path? South Florida, I think South Florida actually does have a path, Chad. With all that we've seen, I don't want to say so many bubble teams have just crushed themselves. And today we saw more in the from the ACC, Virginia Tech, Stanford. I could go on and on. So many bubble teams that were right there, just not getting that win they needed. I think there is a path if South Florida doesn't win this title.
One more opinion here. Mike, who wins the American?
I'm going to go with South Florida.
You're going top seed. I'm going to go with Dorman that I'm not taking South Florida. I'm going with this Wichita State team. Came on strong late in the season, knocked Tulsa down to the 3 line. I think it'd be an interesting story. A team that had been down for the last few years, too.
You know, it's been a while since Greg Marshall has coached the Shockers, right?
Griggs, It is opening round day in the A10. Thoughts on LaSalle, St. Bonaventure, and Richmond Loyola tomorrow?
Oh, I am fired. I am standing already. I just cannot wait. This is the best conference in college basketball. And I think both of the, I mean, obviously, I think all four of these teams are inside the bubble.
Okay. In serious note, who wins the A10?
Um, that actually is a good question, and it's hard to say. I given how I think St. Louis has looked the best at certain points in the year, but they haven't looked the best lately. Could it be Dayton? Could it be VCU? Is George Mason going to catch fire again? Probably not. They were kind of disappointing. I'm going to go because I'm an idiot and I always pick this team and they always let me down. I'm going to go with Dayton.
You know what, Dayton? You know what I'm going to do, Griggs? I'm going chalk. I'm going St. Louis over VCU in the championship game.
Okay, yeah. If St. Louis gets to the championship game, we said we raised the issue about South Florida. I think you got to raise it with VCU too. Is that enough to get them in? And I think it may be.
Yeah, I think not only may it be, but that may be South Florida getting knocked out by VCU taking taking the spot here.
Could be.
I like the draw for the Rams here. They just have to get through Duquesne. Granted, it will be in Pittsburgh. It will be interesting to see Phil Martelli Jr. go up against his alma mater in St. Joe's, but I think they end up beating the winner of the Arch Baron Cup, and they won't have to worry about sweating Selection Sunday.
I think we're going to get craziness here. I like George Mason over St. Joe's in the final. I think this tournament gets turned around.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Mason.
I was going to say also keep an eye on Rhode Island. Rhode Island not that great at all, but they've beaten all the big boys in this conference. So other than VCU, but they picked up some big wins, including St. Louis. Salika, your team is playing tomorrow. First round day in the Big East. We got Butler, Providence, Marquette, Xavier, and DePaul, Georgetown.
Not that it really matters at this point, but I'm sure, as far as I know, Trey Carroll is still going to be awfully questionable to even go for the Musketeers. He got injured in the Seton Hall game and didn't even play against Villanova.
Yeah, Mike, who do you think wins the Big East?
Oh, man. I don't know which Connecticut team shows up. I mean, if the good one shows up, then I pick UConn. Otherwise, I'll go with St. John's.
Yeah, you know what? It's just, I want with you because I want to pick St. John's here also. But Dorman, if we had a St. John's UConn, wow, what UConn did to St. John's last time they played was so bad.
They crushed him, Chad. I don't think we'd see the same result in the Garden. That place will be rocking if St. John's is in it. It'll be rocking either way, but if St. John's is in it, look out. The place will be on fire. I think they can definitely play with UConn at home. Watch out. I like Creighton to maybe make a move in this tournament if there's an upset.
Okay. Seton Hall, well, we'll talk about Seton Hall tomorrow night when we preview that game. But yeah, they might still be on the bubble. Probably not, but might still be on the bubble.
I do not like how Creighton has been finishing their year, but I would say if there was any team that could potentially steal a bit, it probably would be the Pirates.
Griggs, opening round day tomorrow in the Big West. UC San Diego against Cal Poly. UC Davis against UC Santa Barbara. Interesting here. UC San Diego and UC Santa Barbara, both teams that we were looking at as potential conference winners at points this season down in the opening round.
These are two teams that were in the under the radar top 10 at one point or another. Talented teams that underperformed. I think they both win tomorrow. I mean, even with Santa Barbara being the lower seed, I think they both win tomorrow. Even though Cal Poly has come on kind of strong, actually, I'm going with neither of them winning tomorrow. Changing.
You're going with Cal Poly and Davis then?
Yes.
Okay. Stalika, Irvine, Hawaii, somebody else? Who wins?
I think Northridge would be a bit of a dark horse, but I don't see him getting past Irvine here, and they're going to be a little hungry after losing the title to UC San Diego last year.
I'm with you. I'm going with Irvine to win this tournament. I think this is the year the one seed does get there.
I agree.
Rainbows.
Rainbows, though, Hawaii. All right. Hey, Mike, I'll give you this one here. Here's a fun one. We have one quarterfinal tomorrow in the MEAC because there's only 7 teams in the tournament because of Coppin State being ineligible. It is the 4-5 game between Norfolk State and South Carolina State. Go ahead, hit us with some in-depth analysis because we don't know anything about these teams.
I think the winner will be in Dayton.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
yeah.
Well, how about tomorrow? I'm actually specifically about this game.
Tomorrow
then.
I'll go
Norfolk
with
State, South
South
Carolina
Carolina
State.
State. Why not?
Okay, why not? Yeah. At the Norfolk Scope, though, so remember, Norfolk is the home team here. But as far as winning this tournament, Dorman, I'm on the Howard bandwagon on this one.
I'm with you, Chad. I like Howard. I think they're a different level versus the rest of these teams in their conference. I just think they're head and shoulders. They showed it all year when they get down and they play good defense and they do their thing. They're a step above every one of these teams. I like Howard. I'm with you.
All right, let's jump over to the Mountain West. Stalika, opening round day, UNLV, Wyoming, Nevada Air Force, Colorado State, Fresno State, Boise State, San Jose State. First of all, you see any upsets in terms of seeds tomorrow?
In terms of seeds tomorrow, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the Air Force Academy against Nevada.
Air Force, with the only team in the nation without a winning conference play, they can knock that up completely tomorrow with that loss.
But I know this is probably sacrilege to say, but could it be Tim Miles' team that upsets Boise State because the Broncos are good?
Tim Miles is going all the way.
Griggs, who's going to win the Mountain West?
I'm going with a bit of a dark horse here. I'm going with Grand Canyon over New Mexico.
I like that pick, actually. Dorman?
I'm going Lobos. I like New Mexico here.
All right. Mike, how about you? Who's winning the Mountain West?
Oh boy, this is a likely bid. This could be a very likely bid thief because
If
there's
it's
only
not
one.
Utah State, it's a bid thief. You pretty much
Yep.
lock that in.
Well, because Utah State's going to be in, but then if they don't win the tournament, then you're going to have a team like another team that would not have gotten into the NCAA tournament otherwise. I'll go with New Mexico.
All right, go to New Mexico also. Nobody's going to San Diego State then, huh? Just surprised
The
by
only
that.
reason
They
I'm not going
struggle offensively. Sorry.
the only reason I'm not going San Diego State is because I think we have an even bigger bid thief waiting in the wings, and that's Colorado State, who got white hot towards the end of the year.
Great call.
They did.
We'll
That could
overlook
be
the fact that they lost their regular season finale.
Let's jump over to the SEC. Dorman, it is opening round day in the SEC. And how about this for the first time
Wow.
Kentucky playing in the opening round? They're playing LSU. Auburn, Mississippi State, a big game for Auburn. Texas, Ole Miss. Texas could really use an extra win. And some people even think Oklahoma's still in the bubble. They're playing South Carolina.
All 4 games, very intriguing. Kentucky, like you said, first time they've ever had to play in the SEC tournament on the first day of the tournament. They're going to get in with a loss here, but they really need to win and get this team going in the right direction and play Missouri the following day. Auburn will kill themselves with a loss. They'll be done. I don't see Auburn getting in if they lose here. I just can't.
No.
Texas is probably also in with the loss, but Ole Miss isn't the worst team. If there's an upset, I'm going to take this. This would be it for tomorrow. Ole Miss can play with Texas. That would be my one pick. And I don't think Oklahoma's on. In my sheets, they're not really on the bubble at all, but they will handle South Carolina tomorrow.
I'm with you that there's going to be an upset. I'm with you that it's going to be an upset from a team from Mississippi, but I'm going that the Auburn question gets solved easily tomorrow.
All right.
If they lose.
Yeah. I think Texas would be wise to win tomorrow.
Very.
We would normally say a 12-13 game, you're not really going to have an upset, but there is a divide between Auburn and Mississippi State. And if the Bulldogs do put the Tigers out of the misery, the entire country will thank Mississippi State for that.
Yeah.
Let's go, Griggs. Who wins the SEC tournament?
Florida.
Stalika.
I think Florida wins it and ramps up the 1 seed.
Stalika, Florida.
I'm going to go Alabama here, and it will not be because Betty Yako managed to pull an end around the courts. It will be with their current roster.
Yeah, I'm going Florida, though. I'm with Griggs on this one.
Same thing. I agree.
All right. One more conference that starts tomorrow. We got a lot of leagues starting tomorrow. This is almost everything that started. There'll only be two more that haven't started yet after this. And after the whole Utah Valley mess we discussed, the tournament stays as is. And we got a huge 6-7 game between Abilene Christian and Tarleton. Griggs, do you care?
Not a whole lot. I, wow. Yeah. There's I mean, there's a few teams in this league that are really exciting to watch. Tarleton had their moments, but not a whole lot.
How about who wins this conference tournament?
Oh God, how can you not go with Utah Valley after what they've been through? The spotlight on this tournament is much brighter than it ever would have been had it not been for the jackassery of the WAC conference itself. And we are setting ourselves up for maybe the most awesomely awkward trophy presentation ever, like I said earlier.
Dorman,
Well,
you agree with him?
I would love to see them
Oh,
accept the trophy with double birds extended.
Yeah.
Dorman, you agree it's Utah Valley?
I agree. I think they pissed this team off. I think they come out angry and fired up and win 2 games and take the WAC title the last year of the WAC.
I'm going to go with the upset.
Mm.
I'm taking Utah Tech to knock
Really?
off California Baptist
Ooh.
and Utah Valley and steal this bid.
In a Beehive final.
And
They had him in
Beehive final.
overtime. They had him in overtime over the last weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the Utah Tech played very well this season.
Yeah.
We're not third place by much, so that's where I'm going with. But that does conclude everything that's going to go on tomorrow.
Now, I will say, if this happens, are we going to refer to them as Utah Tech, or are we going to refer to them by their original name, Dixie State?
I'm calling Utah Tech. That's the school name.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's jump to our survival board. It's right up there. This is a tool we use, Griggs, for the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee, correct?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we do this as a service for them. We know that they don't have time to watch a lot of basketball. Maybe don't really follow basketball that closely. Just don't have time, so we do this for them.
Yes. And we also track how many teams are left with a shot to win it all. And heading
Yeah.
into the day today, we were at 197 teams left. As a result of today's action, up through, except for the end of that Southland game and the Big Sky game that's going on right now. So we'll actually go down by 2 more by the end of the night. But before those 2 games went final, we were at 178. So we'll actually be at 176
Wow.
come tomorrow morning. We're getting there.
We are.
I'm also looking forward to seeing a 310 update to the Utah Valley situation on the survival board.
Yeah. We have teams in various different colors here, Griggs.
Yeah.
What do the teams in blue mean?
Oh, the teams in blue are locks. Like
So if a committee
those
member
are the
comes-
teams that
come-
the committee will know that they have to take.
So if a committee member comes here and does not serve for Arizona's in the NCAA tournament, what does this tell them?
Oh, that Arizona is in the NCAA tournament. It does. You can go ahead and put them on the first ballot, which is I think taking place today.
If the committee member comes here and looks at Arizona State, says they won today, are they a lock?
And it could just be, I mean, maybe a committee member hadn't seen Arizona State all year long. Like I said, they don't watch, they don't know a lot. They're busy with other things. Like, they're doing a lot of administrative duties. And they would be like, well, I need to cross check that with the survival board. And then they'd see, no, we can't take them without the auto win.
But what if they came here to talk about Cincinnati? Sleek, I got to ask you this. What should their reaction be if they think about taking Cincinnati?
Well, if they saw the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game, they probably would have gouged their eyes out with a spoon. But if you look at the final 25 minutes, they're like, okay, we can still consider the Bearcats, but they definitely need to get quite a few more wins on the LED court or
Yeah,
the
but they're gonna-
masterpiece in Kansas City.
They're going to have to be the ones to make the final decision on a team like Cincinnati or like VCU. All right, Griggs. There's a little bit of rumor out there on X today or Twitter, whatever we call it, that this whole entire Griggs AI thing that we've been talking about is a complete forgery to steal my $700.
Well, sales have been really poor, and I think that I just don't think you're using it right. Like, I don't know how you mess up an AI engine, but this is
Well,
Grok was very complimentary of Griggs AI today.
I have another question I tried. I tried to see what the best college basketball arena was. And
Oh,
this is just to a general AI. Really liked Allen Fieldhouse, Cameron Indoor Stadium,
yeah,
uh,
those are good.
Mackey, Hilton Coliseum, Rupp, Hinkle Fieldhouse. These are great arenas.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, that. So I want to see if Griggs AI comes up with a similar answer.
yeah, the best college basketball arena. I mean, yeah. I mean this should work if you do it right.
The Polo Grounds. It was built in New York City in the 1840s right after college basketball was invented, and it seats thousands of people in a very close and intimate setting. It was the home court to both the Duke Blue Devils and UCLA Bruins. It was the site where Christian Laettner hit the classic last second shot, and it's where Walter Payton broke Babe Ruth's home run record.
I just paid
Very good.
$5 extra for that.
Well, the Polo Grounds was a historic venue.
Uh, let's just go to final thoughts. Mike, any final thoughts?
Um, the good times, let the good times continue. Stanford and Vodtech made a statement to leave us out of the NCAA tournament, whereas SMU said, "Hey, please consider us." And this is the first day that the major conferences are now in full swing. And I was hoping for Detroit Mercy to win. They were leading in the second half, but they just couldn't do. They just didn't play well down the stretch in Wright State. Congratulations to them for winning the Horizons. But I was pulling for Detroit Mercy to get another Michigan, hopefully to get another Michigan team in, but that's not going to happen.
No, it's not. Stalika.
We have a couple of master bracketologists here on Hoops HD, namely John Titel and Rocco Miller, where they attempt to guess the selection committee. And we also have Joby Fortson, who usually has one of the top computer projections as far as what the field will look like. However, until this weekend, one thing they have never done, they have never tried to project what the AC8 tournament is going to look like. I mean, this is a very unique field. You never know how many teams are going to be in the field. You never know what kind of bracket chat is going to use, but when I look at Griggs AI, for example, I just want to know if they're going to be in the base region or in the Abonnet region.
Jeez, Doran.
The way the power schools have played and their teams on the bubble have played the last 7 to 10 days, it's just incredible. These teams cannot win to save their lives when they have so much on the line. And like you asked earlier, Chad, I see a good path for South Florida, for VCUs of the world. And I think this is their year. They should get in, and they will get in because of how these power teams have been playing as of late. And I think it should matter how they did in their conference all year and how successful they were versus these 500 teams in the power conferences. So a vote for the little guys. Make sure South Florida and VCU get in no matter what happens in their conference.
I like it. Greg, you want to finish off the show?
Yeah, it's always sort of Wednesday and Thursday of championship week, especially Thursday, but it's getting to the point to where Wednesday is too. It's one of my favorite days of the year. You still have 187 teams that are still alive, which is less than it's still more than half of them. And I don't know. It's just wall to wall basketball. I'm just kind of excited for the next 48 hours. Hopefully my internet's back up. If the AC8 deserves a sponsor, it's Spectrum.
On that note, I do want to thank everybody for joining us. We'll be back in tomorrow night with another video notebook. But on behalf of David Dorman, Mike Cha, David Griggs, and John Sleek, I'm Chad Sherwood. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you again tomorrow night.